Settings. Link. All right, let's get started here. So a few things that we need to discuss. Go ahead and open the project. And why don't we get good old paint out for this. So here we go. We've got two things. One, which wants me to tell you. Twitch wants me to tell you that if you share a clip, you can get exclusive badges, so I'm telling you that now. Things that I want to do. One is finish the pixel editor. By the end of the year. Let's put that in quotation marks. Because this is never going to be really done. We should just face that now. But it will be done enough that we can start some other projects. It's going to go basically into maintenance mode after I get the initial release out, and hopefully that will mean y'all can try it out. Video about also maybe 2025? Or if not, early 2026. So that's also coming. And then we have several things that I want to do for the editor before it's finished. So we'll get to that in a minute. And then we've got things that I want to do for the stream. I'm going to keep some of those secret, but I will let you know that I'm planning on doing a stream of Arctic eggs. And also, for those of you who are familiar, I will be doing what we call an OBS stream, even though I'm literally using OBS to stream right now. If you know, you know. But basically, that's going to be creating interesting things to do with the stream itself. So those are the plans going forward. The major ones. And other than that, when everything is done with the XGD here, we're going to start working on a game on stream as well. I've got a couple of prototypes, but nothing super crazy. So that would be, I think, also a good thing to sort of take the spot of working on this in future streams. We'll be doing that. Now, as for what we need to do to be done with this enough that we can do things. Let me see here. We've got... Let's see, I need to go to the... Go here real quick. Off screen. And you know what, why not? I'm gonna go ahead and go the Kanban here. First time showing this. Hi there, won't be able to stay long, going to reinstall Arch on my machine again to switch to Sway when... That sounds intense, yeah. Good luck with that. How's it going? It's going good. Just doing a little bit of scheming, plotting, if you will, for future plans for the stream and for the Pixel Editor project. So this is what we've got going on for the MVP. We're mostly done. We've got a lot of stuff done. I'm not sure why this is still in here, to be honest. Why it's not fully done. I had a reason. I think, so part of that is what we already fixed in like the last stream. So now you can, when there's, what is it, when you resize the canvas, it used to just crash when you would use the fill tool, and now it does not, which is great. It's a matter of taking some backups and running Arch and stuff. Maybe it's only about an hour you used to watch stuff and stuff. Audio's a tad low. Difficult to hear you over the background music. Let me see what I can do about that. How's that? I must have bumped my mic. The gain on the mic itself was down. Yeah, so you can use the fill tool correctly now. And let's see what else. The other reason that it was in here was because for very large sprites, it was slow or possibly even would end up crashing things. So let's see if it will actually complete for a very large sprite, or if it will stall or crash or what. Okay. So this is not great. This is not a great sign. Yeah. That is odd. It's a very odd, error to be getting. Not what I would expect. Let's try going to a smaller size, but still larger than the typical size we use. Okay, we still get something somewhat similar for that, where it is going out of range. Interesting. Let's see. So we're going to need to reassess what this means. So let's make this like... Let's just go up 1 pixel. What happens then? Can we do that? We can do that. And what if we go up a little bit more, but without going all the way up to the really big one like we did at first? Okay. What does that mean? I am not sure. I'm not sure what this tells us. Definitely tells us something. But I really couldn't say what. I'm thinking it is, for some reason, only making the texture this big. And not the full size. But why? Why would it do that? And specifically, it's like, oh yeah, 11,002. Like, what? Why that? Well, obviously that's going to be because that's where we clicked, right? So wherever we click on the canvas to try to use the fill tool, that's where it's going to say that. But why can't it do that? Clearly it is updating the size somewhat, but it can't update it to the full size that we want. And why is that? I don't know. So let's try making it a little smaller. This seems to be a coordinate issue because when we click here, it's saying that we're clicking at 964, right? Which is larger than the width that we said. So either it is lying about how big the entire canvas is, and it's not actually 960 when we set it to 960, or this is not 0, 0, and is instead like 0, 0 is way over here, or I guess the coordinates are squished, but that seems unlikely. So the question is basically, where is this? Where is this? So I'm going to put in a print statement here, right before we put this color. So we'll say print pose. actually we want to put it here. Yeah, we just want to print the initial position that we click at. And let's go ahead and resize. Now this seems to get smaller when we do that. I'm not certain of that, but it does seem to. The background music is louder than my voice again. That, I believe, is just because some of the songs are louder than others. How's that? So if we click here, we've got our position at 258, 258, which is just absolutely not what it should be. 256, 256. Whereas we should expect that to be 0, 0. So, what does that tell us? That tells us that all of the sort of contents are offset, right? Basically. Oh, I think I might know what that means, actually. It might be because we have set the actual position of the canvas itself in order to, like, center it. But that might have side effects, and it might need to stay at the origin, unless we do things to account for that. And that would be something that would happen when we resize, which is a little bit odd. So when we resize, that is going to be in here. We set the sprite size to the new size. Right, which emits size changed. And then we have to look for where that is used. I believe we did this before. Very similar anyway. Let's see, we need to do search, find in files. And then it's going to be in here, I guess. So we set the camera's position. It's possible that that is causing issues. I don't see why it really would, but it is possible. As I understand it, the canvas should not be under the canvas viewport at all, so it should have no bearing on that. Let's go ahead and check how things are positioned and sized on the canvas after we have started. So we're here, we go here, and then need to look at our canvas item here. And let's see. Its size is 1024. Position is 0. That's what we expect. And that seems to be true as we go down the hierarchy here. Nothing crazy, nothing unexpected. But then we get here. Okay. So the layer writer container is offset. The question is, why? Why is it offset? Is it for a good reason? I don't have an answer for that quite yet. But it seems that when we start out, it is not. It is not offset. It's just fine. So it's only after we resize it that we get this behavior. So what's up with that? What is up with that? I mean, we could add some stuff in here. This would be the easiest way to do it. We add some stuff in here to configure the container as well. Kind of a backwards way to do it, but whatever. So we would just set the parent global position to 0. Like, that seems like it shouldn't have to do that. And maybe there is somewhere else where we can, like, not set its position instead of, you know, setting it here. But that should work. So then we resize. And we're still out of bounds there. So what's up with that? What is going on there? Why? Is it because I'm using global position and this is its position relative to something that is not truly at 0 for some reason that I have yet to understand? Possibly. If that's the case, then we should be able to just set the position to 0. But more likely, it means that this is happening before whatever happens that sets its position to something other than 0. And so it's getting overwritten. Let's see. Okay. So as I predicted, that did not help. We could do something weird here and connect a special signal here. So we would want something for size change. So resized. And we connect that to, or not resized really. I'm not sure if we can do something for when its position changes or if we have to use a notification for that. We might have to use a notification to do that, which is unfortunate. Okay. So, what's a hacky way to do that? We just do it in process or something. When we say if its position is not equal to 0, then set it to 0. And I don't know, let's see. Can we do some kind of a trace for that? Probably not. What can we do? I think it might be advantageous to use the notification. The other thing we can do is we can check if there's any reference to this anywhere and see if I'm setting something where I shouldn't be. So there'd be a couple ways to do that. We would maybe look for explicitly using the layer writer container. But we don't seem to be setting its position anywhere there. Hold on, this is kind of interesting. Nah, but not that interesting. Okay. So the other thing we might look for is where we use the layer manager. Which which I believe we did make a unique node. So we did that. And then we just got the... Okay, this is interesting. Oh, but it's commented out. Aha! Canvas viewport container. Okay, so, well, but that shouldn't, okay, this shouldn't matter. Because this is in flip. So this is only, and I did remember we did this, but we only do it when we flip the canvas. And we're not doing that all willy-nilly. We only do that when you ask for it. So that shouldn't have any effect. Very interesting. Okay. Does anyone know if there's a way to track when something changes? I think there might be in here. Let's see if we can find something for that real quick. Or rather, property. Check when the property changes. Godot. Custom set function. Good work. Yeah, I mean, we could do the notification thing. The problem with that is I'm not sure, like, there's not really a call stack for that. Like, how would you track down what? I mean, I guess maybe there really is a call stack, but that we could follow through the notification. But it might be a little weird. Yeah. Yeah, we need to track down what exactly is setting the position here. Let's go ahead and check what we do in the camera real quick. It is possible that we do something less than spectacular in here. But I don't think we did anything other than maybe this. As far as I know, that should have no bearing on the position of the container. But you never know. Okay. I am confused. I am very confused as to why this has anything to do with this. Unless maybe somewhere I set this thing's position based on the camera's position. That shouldn't happen. That should certainly not happen. Or the, like, something with, like, an anchors preset is affected by the camera. That would be weird, but possible. Something like this, being affected by the camera or something. I don't know. Kind of weird. Okay, so that does seem to work. I don't know. Don't know why. This would have anything to do with that. Maybe it's because it's like global position? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. I cannot come up with a good reason why this camera, which is not in that viewport even, and nor is it like a child of the viewport, it's completely separate. Why would that have any effect on this position? Did we figure out, is it on this container? Well, if it were anywhere, it would be in here. Let's see if we access the camera in here. We do not. Yeah, that's really strange. I would think maybe it's something like, oh, it's something maybe to do with how when you start out, wherever the position is, that like sort of is the 0 position. Like it determines that in some way. Very strange still. And like, I don't understand why it's only affecting this one. Maybe because it's under a no 2D. That, again, doesn't make actual sense, but maybe. But yeah. Pretty weird. I think for now I will just not do that, and I'm going to make a note here. And that's going to be our fix for now. The only thing is that it's going to start off in the corner like that, which is a little annoying, but, you know, not too bad. Why can't I... Okay. Well, that's weird. Why am I not able to draw? That's pretty strange. Nor am I able to make a selection or anything. What? And no errors. That's clearly bugged in some way. Could not tell you how. What? What did I change? I didn't change anything. Why are selections suddenly not working? If we put this back, do selections work again? Because if they do, then this is a truly cursed problem. Okay, they don't. What did we change? Did we change something subtle? I think we did. Technically. Like we had expand here. That shouldn't make a difference, but you never know. Because we do have, like the selection reference rect and some other stuff. That could make a difference. It doesn't. So it's not that. Or no, it was this, right? It was the layer writer container. Weirdly enough. Now hold on. Now it didn't start in the corner. Oh, because we did this. Okay. Okie doke. I swear we didn't do anything that would make selections suddenly stop working. Help? What did we do? Nothing. We didn't do nothing. what did we do? What did we do? Oh, is it this? Is it because it's like not visible? We may have done this for testing purposes at one point. I think that's what's going on here. I mean, maybe not, but I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so that makes it just always visible, which, yeah, we probably don't want that. I think we manually handle the visibility there. But maybe this needs to be visible. Yeah, okay. So we had just made that invisible for testing purposes at one point, and then we never tested it today. So we did not discover that it had been hidden. Okay. So that's all fine. Good for now. Let's look at other things. We did this. I'm gonna call this done. I think. Why would it be here? If you can't undo everything. But I think you can now. Currently, everything that you can do can be undone. The only thing would be like changes to the palette. I think currently can't be undone. But you know, we can call that done, and then we can add you know, something for, I think I would want to put it in a different milestone, but we can add implement undo redo for palettes. And then we'll call that for that. I don't know. There we go. I need to manually change the milestone there. We fixed this, so that's done. We can't do this yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do we want to? Yeah, I mean, if we have any hope of getting this done, we might need to move this to a different milestone, and then ship it as is. I think this, it might be done? Question mark? I need to look into that. And then moving the selection and not its contents. Again, this could be made a separate milestone, probably. That's cool. Bucket tool, what did we say? We said that there were the issues that we addressed. Oh, right. And then the other thing we needed to check is, can you, without crashing, fill a very large canvas? You know, it might stutter a bit, but people are going to expect that. And also, you know, at some point we can just make it better. But it can't crash. If it crashes, that's a problem. Okay, freezing, not a good sign. Will it crash? Or will it just freeze for a bit and then figure it out? We might need to try at an intermediate size. Because it really doesn't like that. Let's do 2048. And like that shouldn't crash it. But apparently, oh, there we go. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it is crashing from that. I'm gonna call that done. And then we can always improve the performance of that at a later date. This is important. This is one of the main blockers. On mobile, when you are using 2 fingers and you are, trying to navigate, it will draw a little bit. Just put like a little dot next to your finger. And so we do need to fix that. So big question mark next to this. Probably going to do this later. Probably going to do this later. And then definitely need to fix this. But this might be a little bit annoying to do. Yeah, let's see what we have. If we can start getting that figured out, we will be in a very good position. Part of the problem, though, is that I can't really show you what it looks like when I am testing that, because I need to test it on an actual device. And you won't be able to see that because I don't have a proper setup for that. Like, in theory, I could, cast it to the screen or something, but yeah, don't have a setup for that. Let me see, though. That would be in the camera. Well, not really in the camera. Actually, it would be... like, the camera should, like... it knows what it's doing for the most part. So that should be fine. Really what we care about is when we're drawing, we want to not do that. in certain scenarios. Now I think we use something for that. We might need to look at the individual tools in order to address this. Right, so we've got this, which is how we are checking if it's happening, and we need to ignore it if it is a two-finger touch. Which I think, yeah, unfortunately that is going to be pretty difficult to do. Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid directly tackling that right now. Let's see, what else can we do here? The palette thing is pretty annoying. It would be good to have some kind of way to load in a palette, just so that I can, like, test it and use it. Because I can't really use it as a pixel art editor for myself without having that. So it would be very nice to have. I mean, I can, but I would have to manually put in palettes that I want, which is annoying if it's more than like 4 colors. What would be involved in doing that? Oh, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Nah. What are we doing? What are we doing? Palette? How would you do that? It'd be something in here, and you would say load a palette. Or it would be up in here. Either way. Probably in here. What can we put in there? Some kind of button? Perhaps? It's gonna be here in the left panel. Palette. Probably under here, and then we would put, let's see, we've got that and that. So I guess we would add it in here, probably. So that would be to the right of the spin box. And for that, what do we need? Do we actually need a button, or is it something else? I think it's a button. And then we're going to do kind of the same thing that we did for this. So we'll connect its rest signal. We also do need to make a new thing for this. I don't know why it always loads as scenes for the default path here. I probably did something that made it do that at some point. But anyway, we need to connect this. It would be awesome if you could just drag that in there. I wonder if there's a proposal for that. Or even just like a quick connect to self. Let's see. Yeah, when you press the button, then we need to open a dialog box of some kind that is going to allow you to load a palette, and that is going to be similar to loading a project. So it's going to use a file dialog. Okay, so we have our little stub here. And then we want to do something to load in the actual palette here. I do think that the simplest thing to do is going to be to only support, for now, images, specifically like a PNG, as the format for palettes, and then we will expand from there later. Let's see. Need a little refresher on how to load images at runtime. Is it that? It may well be. How do I get the file that was actually selected here? Oh, it's going to be a... Okay. the path is going to be an argument. So we're going to put that in a variable. Let's call it image. Which will then be actually loaded in to the rest of it. And how do we do that? A couple things. One, we need some kind of access to everything else. Okay. So the way we do that here is we just put that signal going out. So actually we could, you know, maybe do all of this. It's a little bit crazy, but we could do all of this in here and then actually pull that signal from here over to here. You know what? Why not? Let's go ahead and do that. It's already basically what we're doing for some other stuff. Although, really, yeah. I mean, really what we're doing, and we do it for some other stuff, is we connect that up to here rather than connecting it in here. But not for everything. Not for everything. Well, let's just keep doing what we're doing. It'll be simpler that way. So we do that. And then we pretty much need to set the palette itself. Which I suppose we would do by clearing it and then appending an array. Perhaps. Let me go look at the definition for that. See what we've done here. We could set the size and then, like, by resizing it, and then set the entries individually. That would be another way to do it. We don't have a clear. You would just resize to 0 if you're gonna do it that way, which doesn't make sense to do, really. Let's go ahead and just do that. So to do that, we resize it to new size. That new size is going to be what? The image. Actually, we don't know this up front. So what we need to do, we need to make a variable that's going to have the new colors that we're loading in. And it is going to be... Do we have sets by any chance? I don't think we do. If we do, then they're made like that, but I don't think we do. So we'll just make that a list for now. And then we need to iterate over the pixels in the image. So it's going to be for row in image dot get size y for column in image dot get size dot x and then we need to actually get the pixel. Then we could do something simple. So for that we'll do if the color is in the palette that we have so far. Rather, if it is not, then we're going to add it. And this should be, I believe, a packed color array. And then we're going to want to resize the array to the size of the new palette. And then we can append, actually, let's just resize it to 0. And then append array new pal. Okay. Pretty good. Of course, we need to see if it'll actually work. Let me go grab a palette real quick. Okay. There we've got our little image that we can load up. Okay. Small problem. Where is that button? Oh, there it is. Frozen-ish? A bit frozen. Not fully frozen. That's odd. Why would that be? Why would that be? Let's go ahead and set the text here just to load. We can put an icon or whatever later, but for now, just that. Why would this not do too well? Maybe because it's a child of palette tray? I don't think so, though. That should work as far as I am aware. And yet it becomes somewhat unresponsive. I bet that is more to do with like the layering of things. So maybe there, like, a better way would be to somehow tell the sprite that we need to do a file load thing. It's a possibility, at least. I don't know, though. So I guess a way to, like a kind of hacky way to fix that would just be to do that on the owner. That'll do it all the way up here. Should be outside of any viewports and stuff that would otherwise mess things up. Okay, that works. What is this? So this is happening because we resized the palette to 0, I believe. We could not do that in that way. I really need to have a thing that will just let you set it. Let's see if we can do that. See if we can just directly make that work. Maybe I already did a thing for that, maybe, but I don't know. Better if we just make one. we will make something like set contents. And that is going to be an array of colors. So a packed color array. And then we are going to clear it and append the array. And then, of course, emit the changed signal. Interesting. Should probably be doing that rather than that. Okay. And then here, we're going to do set contents. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. Reload. Ah, that wasn't so bad. This actually is quite wonderful. Yeah, this is going to just immediately make this way more useful to me. Yeah, I would consider that to be pretty much everything that we needed to do, and maybe even a little bit more. So, I think I'm gonna call it there. See who's online. I'm gonna raid. Izzy Bell or Scootish. You want to see Pokemon Legends or Silent Hill 2. But yay! Palette working. We like to see it. Alright. Doing right now. See you there. Appreciate you being here. Every last one of you.